Hello, hello. It is your girl, Nicole Ryan, with Lana Solutions, your debt diva. If you are just tuning in for the first time, Lana Solutions is a company that helps with debt elimination and credit education. And so we are everything finance here on KPAO. Today's guest is a dear friend, and I'm so excited about having her on the show. We are going to talk everything insurance today. So it's still that financial hat, right? But now we're going to get a little wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the importance of insurance and having insurance. But I will let Tamara go ahead and introduce herself, and then we'll get right in. All right.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tamara Forte, and I am the proud owner of Assured Life Solutions, LLC, and where we are able to educate and teach people about all the basics of insurance, the importance of why to have it, when to have it, how much of, etc. And so I look forward to opportunities to come into the community, to come and speak with individuals, organizations, you name it. I'm looking forward to every opportunity possible to share and educate people on the importance of protecting themselves against financial ruin.
Indeed. And could you tell the viewers a little bit how you got into insurance?
Absolutely. So funny thing, I have a dear friend of 20 plus years, and she's been licensed for probably 17 of those years. And she had been encouraging me, you will be great in this space, you need to get your license. Fast forward to just before the pandemic, I was noticing, I do need to do a change in careers here. I just was getting overwhelmed with the GoFundMe requests for people who had not been insured and having loss of loved ones and not having a way to pay for those burial expenses. Seeing people as I drove to and fro in the neighborhoods with their signs out, advertising that they're selling dinners to help pay with those costs as well. And so I was just like, there's got to be a better way than this. And then I remembered her words, pushing me get that license.
Right.
And then that's what I did. And the timing couldn't have been better because the insurance industry really peaked, to say the least. You wouldn't expect it, but it did during the beginning of the pandemic. So I began to study and became licensed in late 2020 and began selling in 2021, and I haven't stopped since.
Wow. And I'm so happy I had an opportunity to meet you because, and as I've said on the show many times, we have to build relationships with the people that we engage our financials with. And what I'm saying is it's not just about a banker or insurance. These are people behind these roles that we need to know. Absolutely. So that our family can get to know them. And then this generation system of being able to have a personal banker and have someone who provides your insurance is key because we don't know everything. And even those of us that have the titles, we're still learning every day. So how much more is it important to just have that relationship with your broker, whomever that may be? So I'm so glad to have you. One thing I was telling you as we were even getting on the show, I wanted to try to get an understanding of, I guess, why we really need insurance, and not trying to push it to sell it or anything like that, but maybe help us with some of the myths that are stopping us from buying it, especially lower income, where it's kind of like that fight or flight struggle mode. I'm trying to worry about eating dinner tonight. I don't have time to focus on something in the future because we always think it's in the future until it plays out and happens. And then we not only lost a loved one, we're scrambling to figure out how we're going to pay to bury someone where you can't even mourn the way you want to. So if you could just, I guess, dissect that any way you choose to. But yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted you to come here, because I wanted you to speak insurance and tell us, hey, here's the importance behind this.
I love that you posed that question. So one of the things, I did have the privilege, I want to say earlier this year to be able to participate as a volunteer in a poverty simulation. And one of the things that were immediately omitted when it came down to the scenarios that were passed out to the different individuals who are participating is what you just said. I need to eat and I need to keep my utilities on.
Right.
So whether it be health insurance or life insurance, that's not a priority.
Right.
That's just not going to put me where I need to be. And so what we like to do is take the time to sit and educate individuals and let them see, because you're right, it's not necessarily something that's coming down the line. Anything can happen at any given time. We say you could be here today, gone tomorrow. You could be here today and gone in the next few minutes, right?
Right.
So much has happened just in our city just last week.
Yeah.
And we've seen that. So what I like to do with different individuals is say, okay, let's take the time to really see where you're at financially right now.
Okay.
Because the taboo is it's way too expensive.
Yeah.
I'll never be able to afford it. I don't qualify for this. The list goes on and on.
Right.
So what we like to do is take the stigmas and the fears out of that.
Yes.
And just start simple. What is your budget? Where are you at? And so sometimes it actually turns into a little bit of a, financial counseling session, which it has to be, because if I don't do my due diligence and make sure that I'm matching people with things that are not only going to meet their needs, but meet their budgets, then I've done them a disservice again.
Right.
And so that's the last thing I ever want to do.
That's good.
With that being said, we have many affordable solutions and different techniques that we can apply to make sure that you get some coverage until you can find yourself in a better financial position to then increase to where you need to be.
Okay.
And so we're working together in a partnership to strategize and be all-encompassing
Partnership.
partnership.
And I
Correct.
like that, because when we think insurance, we think sales. Here comes the salesman about this darn life insurance. And we're not thinking the benefit, the relationship, the long-term relationship, and again, the benefit,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And my stance is, and there you do have some people that are very good at what they do and they're just completely transactional. I am a person that I do not like being sold to, and if you step in the door that way, you'll be leaving out just as quickly as you can.
I love that about
because it's
you.
very important to have an understanding of who you're dealing with,
Yeah.
what their needs truly are.
Right.
And if you know you can't help them, be able to find a solution or suggestions that they can apply to. And there's so many resources out here that unfortunately, we're sometimes in silos because we're not properly getting that information to the places that it needs to be.
Yes.
And so that's something else that I appreciate. I am connected in the community in so many different ways, from different organization and outreaches and cohorts that I've participated in, that I'm like, oh my goodness, you would be a great candidate to connect here at this agency and here. So I'm more than just an insurance broker.
Right.
I truly do partner with those who I'm seeing, because I just have a lot of knowledge that I can connect people
You
to
do.
that they just don't know is available to them.
Definitely. And I know that's what drew me to you, was the fact that you were very knowledgeable around insurance and that you cared. You truly cared. I would hear your stories and you talk about, some of your clients and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, because being in the financial industry myself for over 25 years, you meet in a range of people, from the CPAs to the insurance agents. And like you say, not everyone is really in it for that long-term relationship and education piece, which is what we talk about on this show a lot, because it's not the fact of not getting the life insurance. My thing is, and I always roll back to like the 5 whys. Why? You know what I mean? And when you really get to the heart of some of the stuff, it does not make sense to not have insurance, even when we think we're living foot to mouth or what have you. So I guess with that being said, I would definitely want you to let them know, I guess, just what it looks like if they were to connect with you. We can roll the credits after the show, have your information available. What's the conversation like? How does that happen?
Okay, so the first thing that we do is we start and ask, what do you currently have in place?
Okay.
Are you,
And they're like nothing.
yeah, a lot of times they are like nothing. Sometimes people are very standoffish and they have the idea of, well, I already have insurance through my job, so I don't need anything. And I'm like, well, let's stop and
Talk
think
about
there,
that,
right?
please.
Because yes, that's wonderful if you do have insurance available to you through your employer. However, if you're no longer connected to that employer, can you take those benefits with you?
No, you cannot.
And very few places are set up to where you can. And so people have to understand, once you have insurance in place and you lose it for whatever reason, you are now, if you started at an employer at a very young age and you were in good health, then your insurance rates were going to be, fairly, affordable.
Right.
If you've been there a number of years and you were considering making that a long-term career and something abruptly happens, there's a abrupt cut in the workforce.
Yes.
And, maybe your company closes, gets bought out, and they get rid of everybody. You have to start from the age that you are. And if you've then acquired any bad habits, any health conditions, you are going to be paying a significantly higher rate for insurance from when you first started. So it's good. Some people say, well, that's too much insurance. You really need to have an understanding of where you're at, what you can keep, what ports over, and how it's going to cover you in each season.
Gotcha.
And so that's why we look at those different things to help you make the best decision.
Right.
With that being said, it's absolutely good that you participate in those things, especially when the employer is funding them or in some way, shape, or form, but then also have something for yourself.
Right.
Because anything can happen at any time and change.
Yeah.
And at least you know what you have in place for yourself. You have more control over than just what you're at the mercy of your employer for.
Right.
So many employers are getting rid of providing benefits and just making a stipend available to people. And they don't know where to start and begin to navigate that search anyway.
Yeah.
So there's so many different variables that could happen that can leave people in a lurch. So it's really good to be connected to an agent or a broker, again, for the relationship piece, who can really help you navigate so you don't get too lost in the weeds with all, because insurance is a big space.
It's a lot.
It's a very big
and
space.
it's growing.
It is. It is.
I just found out about cyber insurance. Blew my mind. My goodness.
Yeah. If you can think of it, there's probably a product to cover it.
Yeah, and not to get off subject, but I think about like Jennifer Lopez and different people having insurance on body parts. I never knew that until I heard stuff like that. I was like, whoa.
Yes, because that's a major factor of how they make their money and their well-being. And so that actually falls under property and casualty,
Get
not a life or a
outta
health.
here.
Correct. And it's like property and casualty, that's their body. I understand. But there's different
the
umbrellas
business.
depending on what it is that you're trying to insure. And, you need to understand that just because you have car insurance doesn't mean it covers you on all these other places. Just because you have homeowners insurance, and if something dramatic should happen, like a natural disaster, if your car is destroyed in your garage, that car is not covered, even though it was in your home. Your auto insurance has to cover that. So a lot of things people would just make the assumption of, oh, I've got that under control. And it's like, actually you didn't. You had a blind spot. But how will you know until you sit and have these conversations? You wouldn't know.
That is so good to know. So what are some of the basic ones that people would be able to tap into for the person that says, well, I just don't know? I know you were telling me about some of the ones, like if you lose your job or you get injured.
Correct. So those are going to fall under the category of supplemental insurance.
Okay.
And supplemental insurance is a term that refers to insurance that's going to pay the insurance owner.
Okay.
So you as yourself as the insured. So if you got hurt and you go to the hospital, you have what they call major medical that pays the hospital.
Okay.
Your supplemental is going to pay you. So typically that's designed to, you usually have a copay or a deductible that you have to meet with major medical, and then that leftover is what you would typically apply that supplemental to supplement
Right.
the leftover, so you can pay that. In the event that you didn't, and you still have those policies, then that's cash available to you at your disposal to do with what you need. And that's one of the sweet spots I really try to work with people, understanding how to leverage that and make sure they're not, in the weeds. So some of the products that we utilize are accident insurance. The beauty of that is anybody can get accident insurance. There's no medical questions, income restrictions, and it's very affordable. And it
Okay.
has a lot of benefits built into it.
Okay.
Short-term disability is
Yes.
another one.
Yes.
You can self-insure yourself. It's going to cover you for 60% of your income. And up to 6 months until you're able to return to work.
Okay.
So at least that gives you some breathing room for you to be able to make some other decisions while in recovery in the event that you're unable to work due to a doctor's orders. You have hospital insurance for those who are planning families and just anything can happen and you might need a surgery. That's going to cover you for that.
Yeah.
Just to name a few. And we have critical care coverage too. So
Okay.
if you ever get cancer, heart attack, stroke, just to name a few, it's going to cover you in all those instances. And they have riders that allow you to have your children on there and dependents at no additional cost.
Right, right.
And so we do have some very good ways to protect people, very inexpensive. I love, love, love these products. Not just because, it's a good way, to support me and make an income, but they're affordable and I also utilize what I sell.
See?
And I'm a firm believer that you should know what it is that you're presenting to people.
Right, right, right.
And be able to tell them a testimony of that.
Definitely.
So speaking to that, my son
Right.
had an injury
Yes.
last year, a student athlete in college, and was injured at the last football game of the season and tore his ACL and his MCL, and we had not one but two of those supplemental policies that were
Amazing.
able to kick in. And even with those bills being taken care of by the college, since it was
Yes,
student athlete,
yes.
when we still receive those statements, we're still able to file that and still get paid those
Good.
benefits from those supplemental policies. So these are things that I would like to help educate people on because they have some blind spots that they just don't know how this applies to them.
Not at all.
And as a result, he's also an entrepreneurial spirit
Yes,
too.
he is.
And so he utilized that to take care of things that he needed to take care
Yes.
of and then help launch him in his entrepreneurial pursuits
Definitely.
too.
Yes.
So these are really good conversations to have. So when we sit and speak together, we can map out. Not to say, hey, we're going to purposely get into something so we can make a claim, that's fraud and you don't do that.
Right.
But anything can happen and you want to be proactive because you can't be reactive.
Not with insurance. Not at all.
No.
And just to hear you sit and talk about it, there are so many different coverages, and it just kind of, the fear, like you said, the fear of not really knowing and understanding it. And again, that's a big reason why I even have this show, because I like to shed that light in those dark places where it's not just about making this monthly payment. Life is happening.
Yes.
And when it does, you have to have the monies available to
do.
take care of the needs. Not reactive, but proactive, just like you said. So when I think of some of the insurance that most people have, they have, like you said, they have their job insurance. Other people, they may or may not have accidental. A lot of times they don't get the accidental because they feel like the accident is never going to happen, right? But then we're looking at the news, right? And the accidents are continuously happening.
Oh, yes.
Now, because I know it has said that with all the natural disasters and everything that's going on, the costs are starting to rise a little bit. So would you say now, the never is a time to really lock in?
Absolutely.
And if we do lock in with certain plans, does that change? Is there something we need to look out for when we do have the average Joe knocking on the door of these big insurance companies that keep telling us, we can get you insurance for only $15?
Correct. That's a blanketed statement. And most people, depending on a number of variables, will receive that for that amount.
Okay.
Things that are going to play a factor in you getting a lower premium is your age,
Okay.
your health.
Okay.
Sometimes they even see what type of credit rating you have.
Wow.
A lot of people don't understand and factor that in.
Right.
Any type of, again, with the health, any type of family history. There's all types of things that come into play. Have you been hospitalized recently? Do you have DUIs? Because if you have DUIs or, participate in any acts of war or violence or have a criminal history, you will not be considered for insurance.
Wow. They check all of that.
They check all of that.
So who are the agencies that are saying no check and come on in and you can pay
Yes,
$10 a month?
I can tell you what, they're not A-rated agencies.
Ooh.
So we have to be
Okay.
very careful.
So we can look for ratings?
Yes, you can.
Okay, all right.
Yes, you can. And there are several different businesses that you can go and see an insurance companies score when it comes to customer service, the products and policies that they offer, and what they do as far as their claims
Okay.
process. So you do have a way to check that and be able to say,
Nice.
okay, well, this company gets rated this way, then I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay.
And then you also want to see what kind of customer service is available. When it comes to health insurance, and especially, the big buzz right now is Medicare. With our seniors, what plans are offered in your area, not just in your state, but in your zip code, right?
In your
Does your doctor
area.
even accept this? There's so many things, and that's another thing that I work with is Medicare, just to name a few.
Yeah.
And so it really pays to have a broker or an agent at your disposal because you could really open up a can of worms going on the internet and searching,
And we
because
do.
then you'll get flooded.
And we do.
And I mean flooded with calls, emails.
Yes, they do.
Things in the mail. So that relationship piece is key.
It
So that
is.
way you can have an understanding of, first of all, who you're dealing with.
Right.
And then they can get to know you so they can help you navigate away from all of the craziness and chaotic stuff that can happen, because some people, again, are just transactional and they have a number that they're trying to reach rather than making sure that you're being well taken care of for your
Definitely.
financial situation.
Definitely. And you know what? Our knower knows when we are sitting down and we're talking with people about our finances, trust your instincts and don't jump. Anyone who's pushing you to sign right away, you need to pump the brakes and you need to see if they're vetted. You can go to places like the Better Business Bureau, which is bbb.org. There's so many other lists that you can pull up, or you can reach out to Lana Solutions. We'd love to help you partner up with folks that are doing educational training around insurance and finances for free. And we are both for profit, but we do have a heart for the people. So you can definitely reach out. We'll make sure that we have assured life solutions information under the credits so that you can connect. But tell the viewers where they can reach you.
Yes. Anytime you would like to sit and schedule an appointment to do a quote, you can reach me at 402-881-5559. That's a direct line to me. I'm in the process of adding our website with all the different products that are available, where you can, start the process of entering your information to
I'm excited.
get some of that legwork done for the quote and some things that you have interest in. But love to sit and meet with you. I could come to you at your home. You can come out. We are in the process of having a build out for some office space, so we'll have that information available very soon.
Okay.
So I'm excited about what's happening here in the near future. But at the meantime, and in between time,
yes,
you can reach me directly at 402-881-5559.
I love it. Thank you. So you guys got it from here, Debt Diva. Insurance is so important, you guys. There's a lot of natural disasters that are continuing to happen. I know this show will probably air a week or two out, but even what has just happened in some of the other countries like Thailand, the LA fires, you guys, COVID, period, you guys. I can go on and on. Now is the time. It is 2025. One thing that I ask of clients and viewers, even if you don't lock in right away, start to educate yourself.
Yes.
Google some of this stuff, okay? There's so much information out there. and vet it. Make sure it's trusted. One thing you'll find out about businesses, the majority of them, if they're doing what they should be doing, when you pull up their information, you'll see the reviews. And whether if you see a ton of bad reviews, chances are they may be true, right? Sit down, talk with these individuals like myself and Tamara, but make sure you do your homework. Wisdom, knowledge, understanding. I'm huge on that. I even tell my own clients and prospects, I don't know everything. I have over 25 years of experience in different fields, but guess what? I'm learning something new every day, all the time. So always be that learner and always be willing to go out there and get that information for yourself. Don't just sit on your hands. Do something about this, okay, you guys? So we're all going to make sure we have our life insurance. And we're all going to make sure we're studying and having those conversations to look into it, okay? And if you need help, you know who to call. It's your girl, Nicole Ryan with Lana Solutions, your debt diva. Until next time, you guys.